feel good. I'm prepared, and that's where, I feel as if I'm prepared. So I'm good. I'm not like, oh, I don't know if I did this right. I don't know if I did that right. Everything is all done. It's about time to have fun.
Yeah, I don't think he has my number. I think the last fight showed that. If he won last time, yeah, then I'd say, he had my number. But I just got to win. I go in there, I win this fight. I put that to rest.
What did you learn about Gray and Gray? What did you learn about Frankie that maybe you didn't know before?
Yeah, he's a tough kid. He came back off that, and even I was amazed.
Yeah, I knew Gray's a good fighter. Got a lot of abilities, a lot of skills, and he definitely came with the heat, and that's probably the biggest thing. He really put the pressure on me in that first round, and just how he was able to stay in after the whole 5 rounds. After going pretty hard in that first round, and I bounced back pretty hard, and he came right back with it. So just his testament of his toughness as well.
I'll just say it's going to be a tough fight. That all those dangerous and expect it's going to be a bloody fight. I'm going to leave there bloody, but I'm going to leave there with the belt. I'm fortunate that I love what I do. I love going to the gym every day and learning, and I love the challenges. I've been in the UFC a long time, and I think just to be able to do that has been a blessing, and I want to compete against the best guys, and that's what I have here on Saturday night, and I'm going to go out there and get it done. This has been an excellent training camp, and I feel that it's my time.
Acho que nenhuma, a diferença não foi nenhuma, ele soube bater bem um peso e fez uma luta bastante dura, como ele fez no 5-5 na categoria de cima. Acho que é isso, para mim ele não sentiu tanta diferença, mas agora vamos ver agora, né? Agora eu vou procurar fazer uma luta bastante explosiva e vamos ver no que vai dar.
I think he looked about the same at 145 as he did at 155. He seemed to be able to make the weight pretty well that week, and he seemed strong and put on a good fight. And I'm just hoping to go out there and keep the pressure on him.
Oh, look, nobody wants to fight Brian Stann. I'm not the only guy, and that's not a big secret, but our paths are going to cross sooner or later. He keeps beating people up, and so that's just the way it goes. But, I wasn't, Brian's not going to get called out by anybody, and I'm no exception to that.
Well, fortunately, I started working on my wrestling quite a bit 2 years ago, and it's been, probably the heaviest trained art in my training camps for the last 2 years, for obvious reasons. So, if I tried to just train wrestling for the last 10 weeks, then I wouldn't have a chance against him. But luckily, I've been hitting it hard for the last 2 years, and I don't have to out-wrestle him out there on Saturday night. I think sometimes when odds makers and people keep telling me about this fight and how big a long shot I am, I think people forget that, I even went back to my bout agreement and checked, but I can punch in this fight, so I feel good.
Well, I'm not completely sure. Look, I'm out trying to pick a fight, and I'm not making any qualms about it. I've been after Anderson for some time, and that's it. My beef isn't just with Anderson. I got a beef with everybody else in the back that all want a title fight, and they all call and beg Dana for a title fight. I've never told Dana I want a title fight. I told him I want the title. It's a big difference between me and everybody else. I'm not scared of that guy. I'm not going to apologize to that guy. And I do appreciate what the Brazilian people said, and a lot of that was said in good fun. But the bottom line is I'm sticking my finger in his chest, I'm picking a fight, and I'm not going to quit. It didn't feel like all that long for me. I got put in timeout for a while, but I'm back, and I'll deal with it. That's the way it goes. I've been in government for a long time, and when people are above you, you sit there and you shake it off and you come back. But the next fight is always the next fight, and there's no telling when that's going to be. Whether you're lucky and it's 3 months away like it's supposed to be, or you've got to wait a little bit. That's the way it goes. But I'm not the only one. Frankie and Gray have been out for 10 months too. And you just got to deal with it. And I don't ever sit back. I've never been the victim. I'm not going to complain. I'll deal with what comes and take care of business to the best of my ability.
There's a couple things. When I watch his last couple of fights, I think the guys that he's fought against really believed in what they were already good at. They didn't train in certain positions that Chael is really the best at. He's the best at putting people in certain positions where he dominates them. And if you look at his entire body of work, I have yet to find a fight where he got beat up in. Even the fights he lost, it's usually he just got caught while he was beating the other guy up. And there's no qualms about it, and that's what attracted me to this fight so much is that challenge. I think I am a bigger, stronger, faster athlete than these other guys he's fought in those positions. I feel like I'm the best prepared athlete to fight him specifically that he's fought in a long time, and I know I can hit harder. And so, where he's been tested in every aspect of the sport, he hasn't fought me yet. And there's no unwinnable fights. And it's not always about who the better fighter is. It's about who fights the best at that moment in time. And come Saturday, that's what I plan to do.
I think there's always doubts. There's no position in the octagon that I'm comfortable in. I'm never secure out there. Every day I try to get better at everything. A little stronger, a little faster, a little better shape. There's always doubts. That's part of it. What fun would this be if you knew the outcome? What fun would this be if it wasn't all on the line? That's how I want it. I love dealing with that adversity. I love going to the ring hurt or sick or tired and trying to figure out how to win anyway. That's just the way it goes, I saw the ride and I bought a ticket anyway, so I'm on board for it. I don't care.
I think there's definitely a rhythm to fighting, and the mental side of it. I feel like I have an advantage because he's been out for a little while. But in all honesty, looking at all his past performances, I don't expect there to be any ring rust. I mean, he's been wrestling his entire life. He's been fighting since I was in high school, and he's been dominating guys in this sport since I was in high school. In fact, Chael was the ringside announcer for my first ever pro fight. I don't even think he remembers. But I remember actually meeting him there, and he was actually very kind and respectful to a guy who was 0-0 at the time. So I don't expect ring rust to be a factor in that. I expect Chael to go out there and do what Chael does, and it's my job to go out there and negate that and come out with a win. But regardless, you're going to see two guys that go in there, and we're going to fight for the entire 15 minutes. We're not going to stop, and no matter how much respect we share between each other, we won't stop hitting each other until that last bell rings. Then we'll take a picture for you afterwards.
Do you remember that fight?
Yeah, I remember it really well. I remember where I met him. He fought a guy named Aaron Stark, who's my teammate. He stopped him in the first round. And we met afterwards, and I remember where we were standing and everything. He was very nice back.
Aw, this is awesome.